Welcome back to Heliopsychology with Dr. Annani Kelley. Again, you may have come here because you have noticed physical or psychological changes during solar and geomagnetic activity, or you are a naysayer, you're skeptical about how this could possibly happen. How does our star 93 million miles away affect us? It does. It really does. And this video is a crash course on some of the different mechanisms of action. It's all about the energy. Our hearts and brains are organs of energy. Both respond to solar activity through energy via light, electromagnetic impulses, and geomagnetic storms. Fluctuations in hormones can occur during solar activity. Now, some basic examples of how solar activity affects us are here. Our circadian rhythm is modulated by light, by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain. Our bodies respond to solar energy through the production of vitamin D. And then we have seasonal affective disorder, where individuals who do not get enough sunlight start to feel depressed. Very basic examples. It is important to note that the body produces an electromagnetic field. Please note the image here is AI generated. There are some better images online, but I do not want to infringe copyright. So the human electromagnetic field has been known since at least 1975. There's a really great paper on it in Physics Today, 1975, written by Cohen. And he goes on to explain the electromagnetic field measurements of the heart and the brain. The heart produces the strongest field, the brain the second strongest. However, during sleep, the brain's electromagnetic field increases in magnitude. It's crazy that it does this, but it does. Our electromagnetic field produced by our bodies is also measurable up to 3 feet away using sensitive magnometers. And this was shown by Lutz et al. And they presented their paper during the International Astronautical Congress in Dubai in 2021. The human electromagnetic field is modulated by endogenous, that means our bodies produce it, ferromagnetic particles. Now, the body produces many magnetic particles, but of them, the ferromagnetic crystals interact over 1 million times more intensely with the external magnetic field environment than do the other particles. And that was shown by Zudas in their paper, Zudas et al. Magnetite materials in the human brain, what is their role, published in Medical Geochemistry. Zudas et al. Also noted that creativity, imagination, thinking, and dreams would arise when magnetically memorized information in the astroglial biomagnetite network. Astroglial cells are in the brain. Feed forward coherent and synchronized neuronal activities in the membranes. That's a lot to take in. But what it's basically saying is that these neuronal processes, our thinking, our behavior, our mood is encoded in these crystals. So it's not just in our neurons, it's also in these magnetic crystals in our brain, which in turn influence our electromagnetic fields. So I'm going to go on to heart rate variability. Now, psychological health and heart rate variability are firmly linked. Cervantes and Puente showed this in their paper, Effects of Holorenic Breathwork on Anxiety and Heart Rate Variability. McCready and Abdulgadur also noted that HRV is synchronized with solar and geomagnetic activity. And then other researchers noted that the energetic environmental factors, and that means the sun and the earth, can directly or indirectly affect human psychophysiology and behaviors in different ways, depending on the health status and maturity of the individuals. Their paper, Space Weather Effects on HRV, Sex Dependence, was published in Atmosphere in 2024. Now, these are just some examples showing the interactions of solar and geomagnetic activity with the human body. There's hundreds of others showing the same thing. Now, let's look at the brain. The brain is an electromagnetic organ. Rouleau and Gimeno, A Transmissive Theory of Brain Function, Implications for Health, Disease, and Consciousness, in the journal Neurosci. There is a complex relationship between endogenous and exogenous EM fields and photons, which means light. So our brain does interact with EM fields and light. Other researchers noted that during high geomagnetic activity, bioelectrical activity of the human brain was characterized by reduction of frequencies of a dominating rhythm, amplification or strengthening of expressiveness of slow wave components, and increase in amplitude of activity. Now, let me make this clear. The fact that geomagnetic activity is altering your brain wave patterns means that your behavior and mood is also being altered. You may not be aware of these changes, though. You may not be aware that your mood and behavior is cycling with solar activity. You'll probably just think it's just normal for you to feel the way that you're feeling, not understanding that these bursts of light and the magnetosphere being hit by coronal mass ejection may be causing you to feel a certain way, but it does. Psychological mental health. Davis and Lowell in their 2004 paper, Chaotic Solar Cycles Modulate the Incidence and Severity of Mental Illness and Medical Hypotheses. Excuse me. Again, I'm still getting over an illness. Demonstrated that major mental illness and severity and incidences are correlated with variations in solar cycles and the strength of ultraviolet radiation at the time of birth. Yes, correlation does not mean causation, but these are very strong correlations, which means that the probability of them happening by chance is less than like 1%. It's minimal. Other researchers conducted studies analyzing participants' physical and mental health responses to geomagnetic activity. Individuals in their study reported more mental health effects than physical effects. So they noted that they were more depressed or more angry. They noticed the changes in their mental health more than the changes that were going on in their bodies. And that's really amazing. And this has been known. So these solar effects on the heart and brain, again, have been known for decades. And as the founder of Heliopsychology, I am shocked that the psychological community hasn't done more research on this and hasn't brought it in to the overarching field of psychology. Because understanding these cycles can help us understand when a person, say, is bipolar and they have a manic episode, are they more likely to have manic episodes or depressive episodes during high or low solar activity? And if we know that, if a person is experiencing these fluctuations in time with solar activity, then we can start learning how to give them better therapy, understanding those cycles in conjunction with one another. So I'm going to take a really quick sip of water. I'm keeping it real, man, keeping it real. Reading the Sun, Part 1. What you see here is a screenshot of the GOES X-ray flux, and this is for today. And today is January the 10th. And I took this screenshot right around 3 o'clock, a little bit before 3 o'clock. Let me see what it says. So it was actually 2:56 Pacific time, but NOAA always gives their times and UTC, which is Universal Coordinated Time. So what you see here on the right-hand side is the ABCMX classification of solar flares. At any given time, you can go to this link and you will see the current solar flares. You can click on 6 hour, 1 day, 3 day, 7 day. Now, one of the things that I have seen sometimes when people talk about on social media the effects that they feel from solar flares, and skeptics will respond by saying, no, that's not possible. It's just a flash of light. Well, some of these solar flares will last for hours. Some of them will only last for a few minutes. But when it's a long duration solar flare, a solar flare can last for 6 hours or longer, which means a surge in UVA, UVB light that is entering our atmosphere, that is entering our eyes, and that is changing the way that we are thinking and feeling, both mentally and physically. Now, this next slide shows the Space Weather Enthusiast Dashboard. Now, this is a huge page, and this isn't even all the information that that page has. But you can see the previous day's geomagnetic field strength, or whether we had a storm or not. So the previous day, and this is in the left-hand screenshot, shows that yesterday we reached a G2 geomagnetic storm. In the middle, you will see that we were at G1 today. And tomorrow we may hit G2. That's on the right-hand side at the top. So you see RSG2, RSG1, and then blank, blank G2. So the R stands for the solar activity, or when a solar flare happens, there's a radio blackout, and that is graded R1 to R5. And then the S stands for solar proton radiation storm, which right now we're not having any, it's flat. So right below that RSG on the left-hand side, you'll see three graphs. The top one is for solar flares, the middle one is for solar protons, and the bottom one is for geomagnetic activity. To the right of that is NOAA's text blurb about what they feel may happen over the next 24 hours. It will also give a breakdown of some of the sunspots. Scrolling down through that page, you'll see the graph for possible CME impacts. That's the WSA Enlil prediction. Next to that is the MAG and SWEPAM data. So that shows solar wind density, solar wind heat. It'll show the very top of that graph, which is red and white lines. That's the BZ component. Typically, when the BZ is south, we'll see a crack in the magnetosphere, which usually leads to greater storming. The link to this page is listed: spaceweather.gov, community, space weather enthusiast dashboard. And once you get used to reading this data, you'll be able to do it on your own, and you won't have to go to some of these other websites that tend to be alarmist. They tend to overblow some of these things. I see it a lot. And part of that is because they want your views, and alarmists fearful, oh my God, it's so big, we're having this huge solar storm coming for us, that gets more views than saying this is completely normal. Because this is completely normal. This happens every 11 years on average, plus or minus a few. And again, future videos will include the hows and whys of heliopsychology, how to read the sun, discussions of relevant research, updates on solar activity, and answering questions from viewers. If you would like to see more videos like this one, please like and subscribe. If you would like to collaborate with me on a research project featuring solar activity and human mental health, human well-being, or even heliobiological research, contact me through YouTube's messaging service or my personal email, dr_helio@mail.com. If you would like to support my channel and research, consider donating to me via Venmo because I'm not monetized at dr_helio.com, or excuse me, not .com, that's my mail. Again, still getting over major sinus infection. So that's my excuse for my verbal blunders today. It does take time to monetize. It does require a certain number of subscribers, a certain number of views. Lastly, my partner and I have over 500 acres in Northern California, and we are trying to start a community of like minded individuals who want to get back to the grounded being that is soulful, that is based in consciousness, that is based in the cycles of the earth. If you are interested in being part of a self sufficient community in NorCal, you can contact me for more information. Again, thank you for watching, and more videos will be coming soon.